Hey, what's up, everyone? I hope everybody had a good morning. I really hate this timer. This timer right here, I fucking hate this thing. I had to use it, though. I had no other choice. And what the fuck? Hold on, let me get rid of that. What is that even? Oh, I see. I see what that is. Fuck it, I'll just hide it. Because I probably will have to use this at some point in the future. At least until I can fix the timer in OBS. It didn't work. So, I was kind of fucked. Last minute too, right when I was about to go live, I realized that the OBS timer didn't work for me. Very annoying. Very annoying. Anyway, I hope everybody had a good morning. And thank you, Platty9237 for $10. I appreciate that. This is the playlist where all of the VODs will go. I'll plug that real quick, and then we can just get started with the show, right? It's going to be a short one, right? It's going to be a short one today. I just wanted to cover your boy Zack because he really doesn't get a lot of coverage, I feel. I feel like a lot of people just glaze over him. I see the your boy Zack Matters parody account right there in the chat. Nice to meet you. Nice to see you around, bro. Yeah, he doesn't get covered really, your boy. People just, I don't know, they ignore him. They glaze over him. They don't say much. Part of it, I feel, is the fact that a lot of people still have some sort of, I don't know, he's not like Ethan Van Sciver, right? He's not like Ethan Van Sciver or Dick and Vito. He doesn't get up to gay ops. He doesn't do all this shit. He's not really in the fucking Comet Skate trenches, the Comet Skate sewers. He doesn't get involved in all the politicking. So that gives him more, people want to give him more grace. Also, he's kind of boring, I'm not gonna lie. But I handpicked a couple videos, he doesn't stream, that we're gonna look at, right? We're gonna zip through them real quickly to just show how defeated he has become, right? And why, trying to get down to why he dislikes Eric July. Loyal CG guy, thank you for $2. Bunch of losers here. Coping, Uncle E saved comics. He sure did, buddy. Fucking, I'm seething, I'm coping, I'm molding, just like Richard does. So, the reason why, because everybody in CG or who's affiliated with CG, you gotta hate Eric July. It's not even optional. It's like, it's more, making comics is more optional to being part of Comet Skate than hating Eric July is. If you want to be part of CG, if you want to be in the clique, then you gotta hate this one black guy who makes comics. You gotta hate him. It's not optional. You gotta do it. Alex Miller, thank you for $2. Even Seethan, you're talking about his boyfriend. Well, look, bro, he's gonna get talked about regardless when I make this future Comet Skate documentary I'm planning to get to before. Will I get to it before spring? Or will I? I probably will. Either before spring or early spring, I will get to the second Comet Skate documentary. So he's going to get talked about regardless. This is just a warm-up. And also, I needed something to talk about today. And I feel like I wanted to talk about the Elijah Schaffer shit, but I feel like everybody else has already covered that. They've already said what I wanted to say about the motherfucker. And I would just be like, going over old shit. But no, everybody in CG has their own specific reasons for why they don't like Eric July. For a lot of them, they hate Eric July because you have to, or else you're not cool. People even in the trenches of CG, they won't fuck with you unless you hate Eric July. For people like Ethan Van Sciver, he hates Eric July because of the professionalism, right? Like, he actually conducts his comic book shit like an actual business, and Ethan Van Sciver hates that. He just wants it to be a fucking club where he's the boss, he's the big kid on the block. He gets to do whatever the fuck he wants so he can make his money on his trash cast and whatever, because he loves drama, he loves getting easy money, and he honestly hates drawing. His hand has been forced in recent months to finally start drawing again. He hates it. Garfield's Bizarre Adventure, thank you for $5. Steel Toe talking about Comet Skate was not on my bingo card for 2026. Yeah, we're gonna get to this. EVS has built up a surprising detractor pool. I'll say that. The one Gresh, thank you for $5. Used to be a fan of Rich way back in 2017, 2018. How times change, bro. Gigatod Howard Real, $2. Cometsgate is a special education gamer game. You know what? That's real. That's actually some real shit, I feel. Yeah, I'm a bounce. Your boy Zack matters. I won't work with him. I'm not here to defend him. Okay. Fly for Shy, thank you for 1738. Lord Raptor Jesus, what's up, buddy? Thanks for $2. Thanks for the shout out, killing it, Hail, brother. Thank you, brother. Hail. But no, yeah, that's why EVS hates Eric July. That's why a lot of people hate Eric July. Vito hates Eric July because he was just jealous because he prides himself on being a writer. But just like his partner, Dax Herrera, he hasn't really written anything of note. In fact, I would put him below Dick because at least Dick got one semi-viral book published and was able to troll his way onto the Dr. Phil show. Vito has never had anything close to that. Super Killer is never gonna be that for him, right? So that's the reason why he hates Eric July. But your boy Zack, the reason why he hates Eric July, there's a deep insecurity going on there about he sees Eric July doing all of the things that he hoped that he could do, right? And he's the most crab in the bucket like person out of any of Eric July's detractors in Cometsgate. And it's weird because unlike the rest of them, he doesn't have any personal drama, and he was like the last person to jump on the Eric July bad train. That's why it's so weird that he sees so hard. See, Ethan Van Sciver, it sort of makes sense why he hates Eric July so much. Same thing for Dick and Vito and all the others. Your boy Zack has literally no reason to despise this black man so much other than the fact that he wishes that he was him, basically. Anyway, we're gonna get to this real quick. This is Elijah Schaefer clip I want to look at, but we'll save that for later. We'll save that for the end of the stream after we get done with everything else. Okay. So first, we're going to go back in time and we're going to work our way forward. We're going to jump back about 3 months where he made this. There's this one insane. I don't know whether this is the original upload or whether this was the one that he made, the one that he uploaded. He re-uploaded it, right? Because he took down a bunch of videos for some reason, and he ended up re-uploading them later. And this one was just insane. When I saw it the first time, I was like, what? Make Rippaverse great again. Eric July needs to hire Ethan Van Sciver as a business consultant. Okay, even taking in how tongue-in-cheek this is, the idea that Eric July would need to consult Ethan Van Sciver for anything business related, not art related, right? Not like being part of the comics industry related, but just like running an indie comic business. He doesn't run one. Ethan Van Sciver does not run an indie comic business. He makes indie comics through crowdfunding. And he's like a streamer and he takes money for that and he draws on stream. He doesn't actually run a business. Not the way that Eric July runs his business. This shit right here, this is delusional. And this is what we're going to get to in this stream, this short little stream of ours. We're going to show how delusional your boy is when the subject is Eric July. And obviously I'm going to speed this bitch up because he's kind of tough to listen to. And I'll probably have to skip a little bit through the beginning because he also likes to meander. He's a top tier meandering. It was kind of charming back in the day, but these days he just sounds like the old man, the confused old man that he is. Alex Miller the third, thank you for $2. Evan describes himself as limping in comics. Gigatod Howard Real, thanks for the $2. Riley is chronically unhappy. Well, of course, he got cucked. He has a very, very small penis that he decided to willingly show to the internet. I don't know why he decided to do that. His girlfriend, that he used to piss on for money. She left to, I don't know, I guess get pissed on by another internet schizo whose dick is probably at least an inch bigger than Riley's, right? He's still he's just a gremlin for Dick Masterson. He has no prospects in life. He's a failure. He probably got that pussy turned out during the one night he spent in jail, which is why he's so traumatized. So, you know, he has a lot of reasons to be unhappy. I would be unhappy with my life if I was Riley. I would probably kill myself, honestly. Garfield's Bizarre Adventure, thank you for $5. Vito tried to troll Eric and promote Super Killer when he was on Eric's stream. Eric's blank expression while he muted his self-promotion is hilarious. Yeah, Vito tried to do what Dick Masterson did to get onto the Dr. Phil show. You know, he trolled his way on there very cleverly. But Vito is not as clever as Dick. I'll say this about Dick. He is kind of clever. He's a pretty witty guy when he wants to be. Vito isn't. He isn't clever. He isn't witty. He isn't creative. And he got easily outsmarted by Eric July. And afterwards, on stream, he replayed the moment on stream with Dick. Like, I don't know, like he was telling to his daddy, like, Dad, look at how this black man bullied me. It made me look stupid on his stream. Is basically what he did. Anyway, get into this video.
Hi everyone, it's your boy Zack.
Why does he always start the video this way? I'm sorry, we're not even like a second in. Why does he start every single video with him opening up OBS? Why has he not figured this shit out by now? Like, it's been like this for fucking almost a decade at this point, Richard. Actually a decade at this point.
Everyone, it's your boy Zack, and very good day, very good couple days. Once I got those 6 late books out,
We're 10 seconds in, bro. We're 10 seconds in, and already he hits us with a banger.
Zack, and very good day, very good couple days. Once I got those 6 late books out.
6 late books. You see, you know what? Hey, credit where it's due to Richard. At least he got them out. You got some dudes, including his big bro, Ethan Van Sciver. Ethan has like fucking 3 or 4 late books right now that he still hasn't gotten out. So hey, at least he got to them eventually.
It unlocked the most incredible productivity.
Oh, and the cough too. Man, this is crazy. First 12 seconds, OBS into my 6 late books into a cough. This is a classic. He's had the same format for years.
So just about to send a 7th book out to the printers. Those 6 books are getting fulfilled right now. And looks like Superhero Fatigue should be able to go to print in about 2 weeks. So that'll be 8 books going to print. Oh, within like 2 months. It's amazing. And then also I was watching the Rob...
I did not get those books out to print. I did not get those books out. I'm completely lying here. Oh, he didn't get those books out?
Was
this just one of those things where it's like, I don't know, for those of you guys who know who Spoonie is, the Spoonie One Experiment, he was supposed to do, I think it was a Final Fantasy 7 or Final Fantasy 13 review, and he was late getting it out. And when people asked him about the review, he said, oh, the render is in the render queue. And the video wasn't in the render queue, actually, and it never came out. Is this that sort of situation? He's telling us that the book is going to the printers and is actually not really going to the printers.
Podcast, and he mentioned something I did not know, which was that X-Men God Loves, Man Kills, which I've never been a fan of. I find it very like after school special. Like it's the most obvious. I
actually agree with this. This is one of those. I'm sorry, I'm pausing too much. I want us to get to him seething at Eric July part. But the problem with this is a good story. This is a good story, but the problem with this story is it's one of those X-Men storylines that has completely consumed the canon of X-Men, right? Like, story is one of the main reasons why X-Men can only be about fucking the mutants are an oppressed minority and they can never be equal with humans and all that other shit. This storyline played a very big role in making that a permanent fixture of X-Men lore, even though most X-Men adventures are really just them going on adventures in space and, I don't know, fighting robots and shit like that. It really doesn't have anything to do with oppression, and that really just became like the main thing that X-Men is always about in like the last 20 years or so, but whatever.
very like after school special. Like it's the most obvious and cliche take on racism ever. Brent Anderson is good, but I just kind of don't care about him. I don't know, it just doesn't do anything for me. But originally, this was going to be a Neil Adams.
We're gonna skip ahead because he always has to start the video with some bullshit.
All of it right here. Basically.
All right, here we go.
Anyway, I was going to do a whole video on this, but I guess I covered all of it right here. But anyway, so
Last and Tag, thank you for the 6 manji. I don't know what else that currency is. Watched some your boy Zack videos recently. He seemed all right. Oh, hold on, we're gonna get to it. Moo Moo Buckaroo, thank you for $25. In what world are you allowed to take people's money and not deliver a product? If Amazon was to do this, they'd be out of business after the first year. Well, that was been the mainstream crowdfunding business model that a lot of Comicsgate and Comicsgate affiliated people did until recently, which is why they hate Eric July so much, because Eric July, he wasn't even the first guy to do this. This was already proven several like years ago by other people who've done comic book crowdfunding before Eric July ever came onto the scene, who showed that actually you can just deliver people's products on time. But anyway, the reason why they hate Eric July is because he showed that actually you can be on time with delivering your books and you don't just take people's money and keep them waiting for months or even years for shit that doesn't show up. Anyway, because of Indiegogo's terms of service have changed, so now that can't be a thing anymore. Now people can actually ask for refunds, and it's gonna fuck a lot of people. And it's gonna fuck the right people. It's gonna fuck people who deserve to get fucked. Sir Jack, thank you for the $10. Mikey, any thoughts on the phase drama? Is pretty annoying, but it does seem the long road to recovery is starting, in my opinion. I don't keep up with VTuber drama. I've seen some of it, but I can't say much for now. I don't like to speak too much on shit that I'm not keeping a close eye on, because I don't just want to like say some shit that's not true, which is why I didn't talk that much about the Turkey Tom drama when it was going on, because it was a lot of, I could see that it was a lot of he said, she said, and the girls really weren't coming forward with the receipts like they were supposed to, and I just got like a bad vibe off that. So
Ethan Van Sciver needs to get hired by Eric July as a consultant, because he just, I don't know, like off the top of his head, basically solved all of Eric's problems. So Eric,
what are these problems?
I think this was yesterday. One thing I will give Eric credit for is he does set up narratives in people's minds before he needs it. So he's good in that regard. So basically what's happening.
Okay, so I'm pausing a lot, but one thing you gotta know is that a lot of the things that he's going to say that your boy says about Eric July is actually true about Ethan Van Sciver. But for some reason, EVS can get away with doing all of the things that Richard says that Eric July is doing. It's very weird.
He lost 95% of his customers. I mean, Alpha Core, I think, dropped like 80%, his latest book. And then he's got these other, like, dopey Detention Crew, something else. And they're making, like, 30 grand. And it's become obvious.
You heard that? You heard that? Hold on, let me slow that down so you can really hear it in his voice.
95% of his customers. I mean, Alpha Core, I think, dropped like 80%, his latest book. And then he's got these other, like, dopey Detention Crew, something else. And they're making, like, 30 grand. And
they're making, like, 30 grand. He's making, like, 30 grand with these dopey books, these dumb comics. They aren't even good. They aren't well written. The art is mediocre. He's making 30 grand. Can you guys believe that?
It's become obvious that he's got, like, 1,500 repeat customers left, just a really small.
Really small. 1,500 repeat Look, bro, if 1,500 repeat customers is really small, then that fucking means that it's minuscule over here in Comicsgate, bro. Like, how big is your pool of repeating customers, Zack?
The thing about Eric is that
I'd be surprised if it was bigger than 3 digits.
His whole thing was he was the successful guy, and he got to use that in various ways, and now he's like the just, you know, getting by guy, and he ain't about that life. So he's trying to reframe the narrative.
Just getting by. The only dude in this, well, I'm not going to say the only dude in this space. I hate to keep talking like this and making it sound like Eric July is the only one doing anything. There are other dudes in independent, like, comics you know, who are doing like big things. But I have to keep going to Eric July because he's the dude they keep bringing up for some reason. Well, we know why the reason he keeps bringing them, why they keep bringing him up. But, you know, it's like he's just getting by. He's actively trying to expand his business like every year, right? He wants to get into animation. He wants to post more books. He wants to increase his volume. He wants to increase his customer base. He's trying to like literally grow every year. Unlike Ethan Van Sciver, who's literally circling the drain, right? Like his pool gets smaller each fucking campaign, noticeably. Yours does too, Rich. Quiet Rider, thank you for $5. Nothing to do with RCM, but it is weird that Epstein was a Jewish supremacist and Laura Loomer is one too. Just saying. Also, Zack is a clown.
And he says, entertainment is in a very interesting place right now. Out of convenience, many industries went all in on digital distribution.
Why you gotta do the Eric July accent? Why do they all gotta do the accent? They all gotta copy Eric July's accent whenever they talk about him. They don't do this for anybody else.
But with the rise of AI and the increasing volatility of digital platforms and unreliability, I'm seeing more and more independent creators shift towards physical products, and understandably so. I just watched a video where a musician said he wouldn't release his next album on any streaming service. That mindset is becoming more common. But I don't think this is just an anti-digital movement. It reflects a deeper shift. Creators are realizing that value doesn't lie in chasing massive, passive incomes. It lies in building active, invested communities. More people are starting to understand that a smaller, loyal customer base is...
Like, I wouldn't even care about them doing, like, the black guy accent if they did it for literally anybody else, right? But they don't. They only do it for, like, Eric July.
It's far more sustainable.
They don't even do it for other black guys, specifically for him.
than going after the lowest common denominator. This is a market adjustment. This is a market adjustment. So he's setting it up. He didn't fail. He realized something, and it's a market adjustment. This was just, he was just trying to find the best 5% of his customers and get rid of the other 95%. But
part of this too, right? Part of this too is that Zack just doesn't understand where Eric July's mind is coming from, because they're of two different minds when it comes to this independent businessman shit, this entrepreneur shit. And it's very weird because I remember there were videos where Zack would be talking about, Richard would be talking about guys like Ray Kroc in making McDonald's. And it's like, okay, Eric July, like, he kind of has a Ray Kroc in the early McDonald's day mindset where it's like, okay, he's a small guy here, but he's got like this ambitious plan to fucking like expand and grow and turn shit into an empire and whatnot. Meanwhile, I don't know, it seems like Richard is happy just being where he's at. In fact, he's gone out of his way to make his audience even smaller. It's strange.
Considering the low intelligence of his remaining customers.
How do you know that they're low intelligent? How do you guys all know that people who support Eric July are retarded? Like, all of your fans are geniuses. They're above average, right? But every fan of the Rippaverse, oh, they're fucking mouth droolers.
And they're a bunch of dummies. Like, they can't form sentences. They will never, it's always a personal attack. It's always you're jealous. And it's...
Okay, hold up.
Remaining customers, and they're a bunch of dummies. Like, they can't form sentences. They will never, it's always a personal attack.
It's always a personal attack. I say why I call his fans dummies who can't form sentences. Okay.
It's always you're jealous, and it's
you are obviously jealous, though.
Never a substantive reply. The only thing they have is like, well, he sells multiple different ways, so you don't really know how much money. Of the money we can see, just complete, total free fall. So, where, most people would just kind of like make fun of him. Here's the funny thing about consultancy. Holy shit, is there a lot of money in it? Like, corporations will give some consultant agency tens of millions of dollars just to send some people kind of look around and write a report. It's crazy. But Ethan says, Eric, get rid of, and then he mentions a bunch of people. Narrow your business down to you, your best and cheapest artist, and a couple of warehouse guys who can handle getting your books printed. Currently, Eric has like 12 full-time employees, not creative.
Okay, so this right here, he's gonna read it, but I wanna read it. Eric, get rid of Indy, Andrew, Brandon, the Saskas, Caro Brown, all of those leeches need to catch street. Narrow your business down to you, your best and cheapest artist, specifically your cheapest artist, right? Not say your best and cheapest artist. Okay, the best artist isn't gonna be cheap, Ethan Van Sciver, okay? That's an oxymoron, your best and cheapest artist. So your most mediocre one? And a couple of warehouse guys who can handle getting your books printed. Produce one title written by you and drawn by whoever. Okay, so literally Ethan Van Sciver already does not, he's failing his own advice. You can't even produce one title, Ethan Van Sciver. EVS, you are short, you are late on multiple books right now. It'll be a single book about all of your characters, 48 pages, twice annually. The reality is, none of your customers gave a fuck about any of these extra creators. They wanted to support you. See, okay, this business, he's telling on himself, right? It's like, the reality is your customers didn't give a fuck about any of these other creatives. They wanted to support you. Basically, it's a personality code. Because that's how his business model works. EVS for him, it's just a personality cult. It's just people are giving me money because they support me and they support my streams. And it's like, I don't know, it's kind of like a Patreon. When you think about it, his campaigns are just, they're like Patreon or Subscribestar or just an extension of like giving him money and his giving him super chats, basically. It's not for the product. Who gives a fuck about that? Right? That's why you don't even have to put it out. Liquidate your stock, try to get rid of your warehouse and sell your unnecessary assets, pay off your debts, focus on making one great comic. Again, we're waiting. We're waiting, EVS. As great as you can anyhow. Continue trying to sell media rights to Isom and Yara in Alpha Core. Try building from nothing to something while learning the craft of comics. Otherwise, your time in comics is done. Thanks for playing. You are not, this is like, bro, it's crazy the audacity that he has. He really thinks that because he was in comics like a decade ago, and he was booted out, by the way. Again, he left comics because his contract expired. They didn't want to like renew it. They didn't want to rehire him. Marvel didn't want him, right? So he had to come here. He came here because this was the best he could do after he left the industry. He thinks that because he was in the industry a decade ago, that he's still a big shot now, and that he can tell a dude who's objectively doing better at this indie comic shit than him how to run his business.
Creative. Like just working in the factory, working in the office, working on the phones, whatever type of situation. He says,
Jace Jav Styler, you asked 10 times for a refund from Ethan Van Sciver. Okay, I believe it. There are a lot of people who claim to have asked for tons of refunds from Ethan Van Sciver, and he still won't answer them. He's gone radio silent when people start asking him for refunds. He says he can't afford them, even though he's a millionaire. So I don't know. Bear Sad, thank you for $4.99. Hi, Mikey. Glad to catch the stream. I found you because I was looking for Dr. Umar Detractor videos. You had just posted the video. LMAO. Hey, thanks, brother. Thanks for showing up. Garfield's Bizarre Adventure. Thank you for $5. In the end, Zack's legacy will be that he got dunked on in a Comedy Central interview and that he starred in an adult film in a shoe store. I really should have brought that up more in my original documentary. I will rectify that mistake in a follow-up documentary on CG. That your boy Zack was an extra in a pornography.
Produce one.
It's crazy how many people affiliated with Comicsgate have been involved in porn. It's very strange.
Title. This surprised me, but when I thought about it, it's the right thing to say. He says, produce one title, written by you and drawn by whoever. It'll be a single book about all of your characters. 48 pages, twice annually. So I believe that's the Common America approach. I don't know the exact page count, but that's what I think it is. Somewhere around there, right? Maybe longer books, but they do 2 books a year. Very, very consistent sales. So he says 48 pages twice annually. The reality is none of your customers gave a fuck about any of those extra creators. They wanted to support you. Liquidate your stock, try to get rid of your warehouse, and sell your unnecessary assets. Pay off your debts. So what?
You know, actually thinking about it, reading this, rereading this, listening to Richard read this, it really does sound like he's trying to bait. He's trying to get Eric July to sabotage his own business. He's like, no, Eric July, you don't get it. You're trying to expand too quickly. You're delivering too much products. What you need to do is you need to cut off your own business at the legs, right? Got to cut off the legs of your business. You got to stop growing, stop expanding, stop putting out so many books. Stop doing that. What you need to do, put out like maybe one book, maybe put out one book twice. Maybe. You should really do less than that. Fire all of your staff. Don't keep anybody around. Lower the amount of people working at your warehouse. You know, liquidate all of your stock. Liquidate everything that you own, actually. Just make sure you have as little money as possible. And just do that. Yeah, that's what you need to do.
Right. What he's been doing is
just fucking terrible business advice.
Is as he got farther away from the whatever 3 million, 8 million, whatever it was for ISOM 1, and the revenue started plummeting, he started just pushing out more product. So it was just a very small audience, about 1,500 or less repeat customers just buying just whatever. He makes a kid's book about a glowing ball. Yeah, fuck it, whatever. To that extent, I think that is proof that this is 100%, like, nobody's reading these books. This is just, we like that you're fighting the wokies, whatever. So we're going to buy whatever you put out.
Again, what another thing about your boy that I noticed over the years is just the lack of self-awareness, right? Saying shit like, yeah, nobody actually cares about your books, bro. We're just here because you fight the wokies and we want to support you for that. That was you, Richard. That was your entire thing. Do you really think people were really that into your fucking knockoff G.I. Joe books? Do you really think that people cared about fucking Jawbreakers outside of the fact that it was made by dudes who were fighting the culture war? Do you really think that without being a culture warrior, you would have ever been in the position that you're in right now, making 6 figures from fucking selling mediocre comic books to middle-aged fathers like yourself? Do you actually believe that? Do you think that you have talent like that, bro? Do you think that you could sell this shit, put this shit on store shelves? I'll be honest, I think that Mark Waid trying to get Antarctic Press from publishing his comic, from publishing Jawbreakers and putting it on store shelves was the best thing that could have ever happened to Richard C. Meyer, right? Because he made way more money than if it would have gotten on store shelves. If he had gotten the book on store shelves, he and Malin would have gotten the money from that. And then it would have like attracted a couple normies who would have read the book and said, oh shit, this is boring as fuck. This is a fucking mediocre. This would have been a mediocre 80s comic, right? And they would have forgotten about it. And then he would have become nothing. But he was able to become a martyr because of Meyer, right? It's like, here's what your boy Zack is. Your boy Zack is the mundane Matt of Cometscape, a very mediocre guy who, not very talented, not a whole lot of noteworthy things about him, but he was in the right place at the right time, and he became the enemy of the right people who ended up making him into a martyr. And he was able to ride that momentum into a career that really shouldn't have lasted as long as it did. Now, I will say your boy Zack is a bit more charismatic than Matt Jarbo is, but it still stands. The comparison, in my opinion, still stands. Mr. Me, thank you for $5. Life Hat, every time you use your sun visor in your car, just throw a Roman. Knowledge is power. Corruption Point, thank you for $2. Why do EVS and Zack keep hounding Eric? Because they're seething, because he makes more money than them selling comics. Mr. Bloodia, thank you for $10. I love that the guy that let Mark Waid clap both cheeks and hasn't had a hit since Jawbreakers is giving advice to a man that did his job better. Sabotage your business, bro. Lol.
The problem, as has been stated ad nauseum, ad infinitum, is that his books just kind of suck. However, I finished ISOM 1 and 2. I couldn't finish Alpha Core. Alpha Core is written by a much better writer, but he has to play in Eric's sandbox, which is only cool to Eric. Actually, the one thing that Eric does,
you're talking about you, bro. You're actually talking about you.
I like is he has, like, I don't know why Flores Park sounds like a real city to me. Especially
who the fuck, like, who is talking about any of this dude's comics after they release?
when it's like one word.
The only person I ever hear talking about your boy's comics, aside from Jawbreakers when it first dropped, is him. Only person I hear him talk about how cool this shit is, how much this shit is, like, how deep it is, the themes of it, is him. He's the only one who's impressed with his own work.
It's so odd. Like, everything named by Eric was clearly named by Eric, but then Flores Park is the most generic, like, amalgamation of, like, Dallas and Fort Worth. Like, it's just nothing. There's no... It's not interesting. I know he's got this, like, Texas seceded from the... That's not interesting to anybody. So he says, focus on making one... Wait, I emphasized the wrong word. Focus on making one great comic. As great as you can. Anyhow. Ooh. that was a little rap punch right there. Ouch, that one hurt me. I'm catching strays. As great as you can, anyhow.
He already, see, he knows that this also applies to them. He knows that everything he's saying about Eric July also applies to him too.
Continue trying to sell media rights to ISOM and Yaira and Alpha Core. Try building from nothing to something while learning the craft of comics. Otherwise, your time in comics is done.
Isn't he doing that? See, this one confuses me. Try building from nothing to something while learning the craft of comics. Is he not doing that? Is he not in the middle of doing that? Like, he literally has Chuck Dixon, who's like low-key his mentor in a way, Chuck Dixon and Eric July. And he's learning, he's getting better at writing, or so I've been told, right? That's what Chuck Dixon says. Chuck Dixon is like, I had to give him some advice. I had to show him a couple things, right?
Thanks for playing #Comicsgate. And I believe he clarified, some people asked him questions. This guy said, would it be possible for someone like Eric to make a small comic every month? Oh, fuck no. Or is the 40...
Hold on, let's hear that one again. Let's hear that one again. This is 3 months ago, by the way.
Would it be possible for someone like Eric to make a small comic every month? Oh, fuck
no. Hey, Eric July is like, hey, I'm planning on making a comic every month. I'm planning on dropping some new shit every month now. Rippaverse, we're trying to get the publishing up.
Or is the 48-page comic less risky due to inventory? Ethan says, I think he'd be better off making them event releases, but even as I type that, I feel the fatigue his customers must feel. Like, if you go, like, to the Rippaverse Reddit...
Wait, hold up, look at this shit. He's gotta crowdfund his comics, do them less frequently, and make them better, less spending on unnecessary bullshit, and more focused on art. You don't do this. Why are you telling this dude to do things you don't do? See, this is what I got on Vito. This is what I got on Vito for in the documentary on Comicsgate that I did. This is what I got on him for, is that, look, bro, when you throw your hat in the ring and you get involved in this shit, you can't just speak like you're on the sidelines, just like telling a dude to do this and that when you aren't doing this and that. Look, dude, you don't fucking, you're super late on delivering like a lot of books. And what are the books? And you're fucking I'm be honest, your Cyberfrog shit, it's not that impressive, bro. Like, the art is good, but come on, dude.
Dead. It's just fucking...
Bro act like any of his comics that he's put out since he left DC have won awards. That fucking Cyberfrog has become a smash viral hit, bro. Nobody outside of Comicsgate even know what the fuck Cyberfrog is.
Dead. Like, there's no... If you type Rippaverse in, like, the search for Twitter, it's people saying Rippaverse sucks, and then the other side saying, you're jealous, Cope, and then the other side says Cope. But there's no, like, discussion of the characters. Nobody gives a fuck about anything. To his credit, although it's more of like an outsider art type of thing, outsider art is, they used to do this a lot in the 80s. They would find some like schizophrenic, like ex-con who was like, had Down syndrome, and then they would have him scribble, and then they would sell it for like tens of thousands and millions. And it's like, oh, he sees the world differently. It's like, well, you know, I don't need to make a joke about the eye shape of Down syndrome people. But it was, I liked the first two books because they were so fucking wonky and weird. It was just an arrogant, obnoxious guy writing his version of a superhero who was an even more arrogant and even more obnoxious. Correct me if I'm wrong, there's a scene in one of them where the guys, the villain's talking shit to Isom. I was gonna say Eric Isom, whatever. Where he's like, "Man, you used to run track so good. What happened to you, man?" No human cares about track.
What? Bro, it's an Olympic sport. What the fuck are you talking about? Your boy Zack doesn't care about sports, by the way. Despite being in the Marines, he is like a giant fucking nerd. He doesn't care about sports, not football, not basketball, not track. No, quite a few people care about track, right? There are people who fucking are celebrities off of being able to run good. I don't know, do you know about a certain Jamaican individual named Usain Bolt, the fastest man in the world, who like single-handedly carried Jamaica, I think at some point, like, what isn't it like most of the gold medals that Jamaica has ever gotten in the entire history of Olympic sport, of its entire Olympic history, most of them were won by Usain Bolt? Yeah, a lot of people care about track, Zach.
When they are in their 30s, except for Eric. Like, he talks about it all the time. Clearly, it's an interest. So I would not have thought about this. It's like, hey, your books suck. What if they sucked together? But it could be more fun just having, like, the outsider art of, like, a weird, super arrogant guy thinking he can write comics and just having, like, somebody pointed out, like, that all of his characters are just criminals. Even when they're heroes, they're still criminals. Even when they're heroes, their motivations are all, like, selfish and egotistical. It reminds me of that, what was that?
Like, hold up, why is that a problem?
Guy thinking he can write comics and just having, like, somebody pointed out, like, that all of his characters are just criminals. Even when they're heroes, they're still criminals. Even when they're heroes, their motivations are all, like, selfish and egotistical. It reminds me of that,
You can do the right thing for selfish, egotistical reasons.
what was that? God, what's DC fucking characters? Oh, I actually thought of
There are some dudes who are brain surgeons who are complete pieces of shit. You know, they cheat on their spouses, they're super arrogant, they talk down to people, but they've still saved lives. Like,
the name by making fun of how DC names characters. It's like, oh, is this dead guy? He was probably called, like, Dead Man. His name was Dead Man. So Neil Adams did a mini series called Dead Man, but it was literally Dead Man and anyone that Neil Adams felt like drawing, and everyone was just. It made me think about, I think superheroes would be just be jittery and they have so much power and they would.
Richard Meander Myers, you know, he's going off real quick. Garfield's Bizarre Adventure, thank you for $10. I remember both Zach and Evan loved Isom when it came out. They both reviewed it and told people it was great and to go buy it. Both Evan and Zach deleted those reviews and flipped. Oh yeah, that's part of the reason why so much of this dude's content has, like, vanished. He deleted a lot of shit. He deleted a lot of the shit that was him being pro Eric July, pro Critical Drinker, pro a lot of the people he talks shit about now who have literally done nothing to him. The people who he hates the most now on YouTube are people who've done nothing and actually have supported him in the past, but he hates them now because he's so jelly.
They wouldn't have normal conversations like, we gotta go over there. And it would just be, like, super intense. And that's what all his characters were. They were just yelling everything and just flexing all their muscles. It was fun. So I never would have thought about this. Like, oh, put all of his crappy characters together. That would be way better than having them apart. So yeah, this plan, I wouldn't change a thing. Although, correct me if I'm wrong, does he say one book and then 2 books? One book. Wait. 48 pages twice annually. Oh, is he saying it's like the same title? So you can call it whatever, Rippaverse Heroes. And yeah. And Eric's even done a thing where Isom's just completely collapsed in popularity. He's like, the Rippaverse is not the Isomverse. It's like, oh yeah, clearly. God, none of these characters are good. But yeah, just having, like, a super arrogant, like, e-celeb write about a bunch of heroes who are all assholes and criminals, just kind of careening off of each other with some good art.
Isn't that the point of The Boys, though? I mean, The Boys is full of that shit, and that's super popular.
Not that generic ass.
Even the dog shit TV show is still super popular.
DC fill-in guy.
There are actually a lot of superhero stories these days that are just fucking subversions, ironic subversions, deconstructions of superheroes that do very, very, very well.
That he has.
Invincible is sort of kind of like that, although I would say it's more of a traditional superhero story.
Is drawing Isom. I believe in another branch of this thread, Ethan says, your only good artist is Kanan White. So I was like, yeah, Kanan White draws Rippaverse Heroes twice a year. And it's just, but here's the deal. He built his success on being successful. He cannot transition to not being successful. Because that's just, you only sold one thing. You didn't sell great stories, amazing characters. You sold, I'm going to moonwalk on the face of the mainstream industry. And if you're indie or in crowdfunding and you criticize me,
as opposed to you, like, is that not what Comicsgate literally did? Is that not what you guys were literally doing? I remember, bro. I remember you guys were hyping up all your stories, but you guys 100% were selling this shit on, yeah, this isn't like the mainstream. This isn't like all that woke SJW shit that's poison mainstream comics. We're doing our own thing. That's what you guys were doing it. You guys weren't really selling this shit on the story and on the quality of the characters or whatever the fuck. Corruption Point, thank you for $5. This is why I unsub from Zack. His content is just rambling nonsense and bitterness. Yes, this video did not need to be 18 minutes long. It didn't.
It's because you're jealous, or he had some phrase he would use, catty. So, I mean...
Honestly, the first few minutes of this video, right? Like, the first 2 minutes, literally unnecessary.
This shit's only gone for 3 years, and it's completely collapsed. This is... Like Ethan says, like, your time in comics is done. Even like, if you know the history of comics, Wes is like, history of comics? You know, especially in the 80s, 5 years.
When is the comic book gonna come out, by the way, Richard? When are you gonna get that one out? Mr. Bloodia, thank you for $5. Zack, the literal definition of the older guy mad that the younger guy doing what they did, but better. Does that make him arrogant too? Yeah, he doesn't think about that. But no, bro, when is fucking the comic book coming out? Aren't you making it with AI? You would think that if you're making a comic with fucking AI, it should be easier to get it out. This is why I don't understand why fucking Vito hasn't gotten out his comic, bro. Just fucking use AI. Just use AI and copy the artist who left because you didn't pay him, because you fucked off with the money. Just copy his style and finish your comic book that way. It's not like anybody cares at this point. Solid Self, thank you for $4.99. Do you think Richard had an ammo box dropped on his head? I think he's just like this. Luke Coraloritz? Luke, thank you for $2. Zack is a homeless man screaming at a millionaire.
Years was the deciding factor.
Is he still living on his friend's couch? I remember he used to like do that a lot. He used to just stay at his friend's house, and he just used to live on their couch, live in their spare bedroom. I don't know, camp out in their living room or whatever, instead of taking care of his kids.
People could usually just run things like disorganized hippies for whatever. You would get 5 years. I don't think he's gonna make it. And he's already putting feelers out. Like, I think he wants an escape plan. I think he wants to retire with honor. You know, boy, one of the most freaking. Gosh, I'm not like a World War II history buff, but
that's kind of insane. What do you mean?
I heard that when they were going to go have,
like, this dude is a nerd in all of the lamest fucking ways, right? Like, you go into the Marines, right? You go into the Marines. You're a huge nerd, but your nerdiness only extends to superhero comics and like fucking shitty TV shows and movies from the 80s and 90s. That's it. That's all he's got. He doesn't have anything else except for that.
The Japanese signed the surrender. MacArthur was like, they're like, oh, we need to, you know, this is still an enemy military.
You don't know any military history. You're fucking in the Marines and shit.
We need to have our weapons. He's like, no weapons. I don't even think those guys ironed their uniforms that day. Like, they just showed up.
Like, surely, as a Marine, you should at least know a thing or two about the Pacific War. Marines were all up in the Pacific War in World War II.
Like, sup? The Japanese were like, sup? So he's like, no weapons. They're not a threat. They've been completely gelded. But yeah, I mean, when you build a company on arrogance, it's really hard to be humble. And that's the only way for Eric July to survive as a comic book publisher. Not that I think he wants to. I think I've told this story a million times where I was interviewing for this company. It was in the New York Times building over there by Port Authority. And it was like, oh God, it was such a funny thing because like it was a classic like hustle and bustle, you know, tech company. But that building is expensive. Like, why are you there? You could be across the river in New Jersey for like a 20th of the rent you're paying there.
Anyway, it's just meandering. We're gonna get on to the next video. Holy shit, you gotta know when to press and go when it comes to Zack. All right, so we're gonna fast forward 2 months. This was in December. I guess, no, it's actually 2 months. Yeah, it was 2 months ago. So Phoenix from the Ashes, Ken Rippaverse founder Eric July happily adjust to being a massive failure. He keeps saying this. He keeps saying that Eric July is a failure, that it's all gone wrong, that this is the end, that it's about to fucking... Like, there are so many videos from months ago, from a year ago, from 2 years ago, that swear that Eric July is done, that the Rippaverse is dead, that he's not gonna go anywhere. And then he continues to, like, do fine. And you guys are gonna see, we're gonna progress through this shit. You're gonna see him finally, like, have to come to terms with the fact that, no, Eric July is actually a somewhat decent businessman and his fucking business isn't about to collapse out of nowhere. Your boy Chicken Little. Basically, yeah. Jay Thompson, thank you for $2. It sounds like he's spiraling into madness. Oh, yeah. I feel like that's from, like... I don't know. I guess when he was in the Marines, he has a really bad cough. Maybe he had to breathe in some fucking fumes and it got to his brain, because he's not all the way there. Corruption Point, thank you for $5. Zack and EVS are so desperate for Eric to fail because they feel like complete failures. Yeah, and I don't even understand. He's not even their competition for real. Like, you would think, oh, he's their competition, but not really, because the way that they make money from selling their comics and the way that Eric July makes his money from selling his comics, they're like two different models. They just happen to be YouTubers who sell their comics over the internet, and that's it. There's not really like a whole lot of, I don't know, crossover. That's why when Eric July, when Ethan Van Sciver burned the bridge with Eric July, it didn't really do anything for Eric July, because the Rippaverse fans and the Cometscape fans, there's not a big crossover between those two. Also, Eric July's fan base is way bigger.
Hi everyone, it's your boy Zack, and you probably remember, was it like 2016 or so, they had this guy, Billy McFarland, and he ran into the ground this festival called Fire Festival, which was actually got the most famous for just showing the really paltry prepared meal, which is like a slice of cheese and some wilted lettuce and some other crap. And it was huge news at the time. There
yes,
were
Deltas. Yes, Delta Ace. That is what they're trying to do. They're trying to manifest by just saying it's gonna fail. They're like Indians who are just dancing and singing and to make it rain.
Repeating documentaries.
Just do the rain dance a little harder. Just do it a little bit more, Zack. Eric July's business will finally collapse.
That both did really well, and for a while there, it was kind of like a meme. And then Billy went to jail for several years. He fought it for a couple years, went for a couple years, and then just got out I think like 2 years ago. Immediately started talking about organizing Fire Festival 2, which you would think would be part of his parole, that he wouldn't be able to do something like that, but he did. He started announcing it. He talked about it's going to be in this city in Mexico. They said, we have no permits for anything called Fire Festival 2. He's like, yeah, actually it's in this other city. And then he just kind of quit and said, I'm just selling the Fire Festival name. I think it sold for like, not a lot, but like 250 grand. Maybe less. Maybe that's what it was originally for sale for. And then he announced he was doing something called Phoenix Festival, which was PHNX. And everyone kind of like gathered around to make fun of it. But then something amazing happened. Yeah, it still failed, but it was successful in everything that he failed at.
The reason he has to start off these videos by telling these stories, because otherwise his videos would legit be like fucking 5 minutes. Everything he says in these videos. It took me a while. It took me a while to pick this up when I was originally watching his videos years ago before he went completely insane. But a lot of these videos really are just him meandering, telling stories. And a lot of the stories he tells, they aren't even like actual stories that he lived. They're just like, he's telling us shit that he saw in a movie, that he saw in a TV show, that he fucking read in a comic book, that he saw in a documentary. These aren't even his stories. It's weird.
Before. So before, he was able to get like a bunch of celebrities and get them to make this thing go really viral, and he got, just a massive crowd, but he couldn't handle it. It's funny, I have friends from China. One time I explained to them the loaves and the fishes story from the New Testament, and they just thought it was hilarious. I was like, no. They just imagined it was some sort of like, you know, yakety.
Oh my God, bro. Get on with it. He jumps from one story to another story before he gets to the fucking main topic.
They're like, hey, tell the story about the fish that come out the basket forever. But he wasn't able to pull a loaves and fishes situation with the first Fire Festival. It was a complete disaster.
Yes, I also watched the Internet Aristocrat. No, not Internet Aristocrat. Internet Historian video about Fire Festival. Who, I don't know, he told the story that the Hulu documentary told, but like in a funnier, more compact way.
People were like puking and passing out from the heat. They were able to get everyone to have been guilty of all of his crimes. 5 million. Because his crimes were logically to, he went to this Honduras, happy, that's a failure, and French Montana, everything's going to be terrible. And Raider went out for a little, got last this incredible event scheduled for Palop. And then,
nigga, when do you get to the part about Eric July? What the fuck? Hold on, I'm sorry, guys. Let me fast forward to this. There's no fucking way. When do you get to the part about Eric July? Are you serious? Bro, it's 6 minutes. It took him 6 minutes to start talking about Eric July.
Neighborhood barbecue. But the thing is, at the same time this is happening, 2 other things happened. Similar, you know, is that Eric July just
finally 7 minutes into a video about Eric July, he finally starts talking about Eric July. Is that a record? Is that a record for how long it took fucking Simple Zack? How long it took Richard Meandering Meyer to finally get to the topic of the video?
Completely flamed out. So he's now been reduced to begging for help, and he needs your support. And his support is to do something that he's already done and was already doing. Like he had like some, oh God, it's called like the Mac Daddy level, like a monthly subscription, and that's supposed to fund animations. And now his goal is, you know, give me 150 grand and I'll make 10 or 11 animations to promote. So basically you're paying for the honor of funding his commercials. Not essentially, that's like what you're doing. And he just got to like 100, I was gonna say.
Like, here's the thing. In the last video we watched, maybe he forgot. Maybe he and Ethan Van Sciver forgot. Ethan Van Sciver literally said he needs to start crowdfunding, right? So he does that. He starts crowdfunding, and he doesn't even crowdfund for comics because he doesn't need to. Instead, he crowdfunds for a completely supplementary thing that he plans on expanding. That is animation, right? Just do some animations for the comic. He already has an in-house animation team. What he wants to do, he wants to expand it. So he asks for some he decides to start crowdfunding for it. And see, because one of the benefits about crowdfunding is that you get to see in real time what do people actually want. Because if they actually want it, then the thing will get made, or at least it'll get funded. As we've seen, crowdfunding something that people want to give money to doesn't mean it gets made. It just means that you gave money for it to get made. So, you know, I don't understand why they're upset about him doing the thing that they told him to do this, and he's doing it, and they're still mad.
Backers, simps.
Xander Vorkov, thank you for $5. The CG Eric July haters will focus their will and energy into everything but completing their crowd-funded comics. Oh, sure. This is way easier. Just saying Eric July bad is way easier and also way more lucrative for a lot of them than focusing on comics. Garfield's Bizarre Adventure, thanks for $5. Zack and Evan have campaigns that are years late, and in both Indiegogo comment sections, you can find both of them arguing with their own backers. Isn't there also a new rule on Indiegogo that if a backer says something to you in the comments asking about the product, you have to respond unless it was a straight up troll comment?
For this endeavor. And it's one of those things where there's this saying that, you know, if you can have 1,000 fans, you can do good. Here's the other thing. There's also the merit of having much fewer, like 150. It looks like he's probably going to top out at about 150, 200 suckers paying for his advertising. But something happened recently where I had a book, LAX, which I love, I was very excited about, and it didn't sell very well. In fact, it only sold well enough to cover the cost of what I put into it, but then I had to print it and fulfill it, and that was basically the same amount of money. So basically it covered like half of the complete cost. But after fulfilling, and I even gave people who bought one copy 2, there's still 200 left, and it's a good book. It's got good word of mouth, so I can sell.
Isn't it like, I don't know, that seems like a L. That seems like a business L.
Money. So basically it covered like half of the complete cost. But after fulfilling, and I even gave people who bought one copy 2, there's still 200 left, and it's a good book. It's got good words.
Why would you give people who paid for one copy 2? Why would you do that? I don't know, bro. That doesn't make sense for me. I mean, good on you for actually getting the comics out, because, you know, people who are affiliated with Comicsgate, that's not a guaranteed thing. But still, why would you do that? I don't know. I guess he just had like some extra money to spend. Also, Pen Tab Graphite, you point out an interesting point. Eric July is successful, worked with Todd McFarlane on a Yaira statue, and is making greater moves. That's another thing about why Richard is seething, because he's been touching. Eric July has been in touch with a lot of legends of the industry, like Todd McFarlane, Chuck Dixon, Mike Millar, I'm sorry. No, is it Mike Millar? Holy shit, how did I forget his name? With Miller, right? Frank Miller. No, wait, what the fuck? Oh shit, I'm having a simple Zack moment. I forgot. Anyway, with Millar. You know, he's been in touch with a lot of people who are like, yeah, Mark Millar. What the fuck? Why did I like, I don't know, had a moment there. He's been in touch with a lot of people in the industry, and that really makes Richard feel a certain type of way. Because again, he's been on the outside looking in his whole life. He loves comics. He wants to be part of comics. He's been making comics before any of this Comicsgate shit ever happened, by the way. He did make indie comics before all of this shit, for any of this Indiegogo Kickstarter stuff or whatever. So, you know, to see Eric July just, I don't know, shoot up escape velocity style and just be in touch, be in the inner circle with all these bigwigs in the industry and whatnot, I don't know, it kind of does make him feel a certain type of way.
Word of mouth, so I can sell it as an add-on for, you know, the next 5 projects, and probably sell out of those 200 and then break even. And here's the weirdest thing. I don't love this book any less for only getting 150 people. My feeling is, you know, there's a bunch of factors. Ethan was covering Eric the other day, and he was like, you know, because Eric always does this thing where he goes, you asked for that. It's like, I think people are just being polite. Like, you go to get a signing, and you're like, oh, so are you doing anything with, I don't know, animation? So he's like, you asked for this. And Ethan said very simply, he's like, people don't want ISOM, they want Spider-Man. There was a crazy period of time that's been over for several years where Spider-Man comics were bad, and the writer was calling everyone Nazis, and it was like, what the
Wait, are you serious? Your boy Zack Matters, are you serious? Wait, I did say Mark Millar, or did I say Mark Miller?
Fuck, especially if you've been...
See, I know it's Millar.
Reading Spider-Man for 20, 30, 40 years, it's shocking. So you kind of deal with it in a bunch of different ways, and then this alternative is presented, and it's like, we're not going to call you Nazis, and we're not going to be late like other crowdfunders, and we're not going to do this, except for everything was sold on what it wasn't instead of what it is. Even when he tries to promote animation, he just says, we're going to make animation, and we're not going to sell it to...
Wait, does he just, I don't know, has he had just a giant brain fart? Did he just have a giant brain fart about a lot of his own history, about a lot of Comicsgate history over the last few years?
And then this alternative is presented, and it's like, we're not going to call you Nazis, and we're not going to be late like other crowdfunders, and we're not going to do this, except for everything was sold on what it wasn't instead of what it is. Even when he tries to promote animation.
But didn't he do all those things? Didn't he like not call his customers Nazi, and he got his books out on time?
He just says, we're going
like, what do you mean?
to make animation. And
what else is he supposed to do? I don't understand. What else is Eric July supposed to do except sell comics to people who want them and get them to them on time? What else is he supposed to do? I mean, just doing that shit alone, he's already doing more than what the majority of people like in this sector of indie comic creators are doing. I don't know what else is he, like every book's supposed to be a 10 out of 10 masterpiece or some shit. Right, like he's just supposed to be putting out banger after banger, right? Like he just, I don't know, man. What else is he supposed to do?
Not going to sell it to the corpos, and he never says, we have a really good idea. These characters are awesome.
He's got to be like the reincarnation. He's got to be the Black Jack Kirby, or else anything he does isn't good enough.
But he's going to continue to shrink, but I don't think he's going to shrink past, 150 very sad men who believe this stupid shit. So it's kind of an interesting thing where, you know, I can have a book that, you know, didn't make even half of what I'm spending on the first one, and I'm totally happy with it. Now,
oh my God. You know what this is? Hold up. You know what this reminds me of? No, wait. That's not actually a good analogy. I was going to think about it like the bike cuck. For those, I'll bring it up real quick. The bike cuck. Hold up. Actually, hold on. Hold on. Let me turn it away because I don't know what I'm going to get in Google. I put in bike cuck. Hopefully it'll give me the right. Oh, no. Okay, I got it. No, it gave me the right thing. It gave me the thing I was looking for, actually. No, wait. All right, there it is. No, that's a video. Fuck. Okay. All right, never mind. I found something. All right, so this is what I was talking about. The Bike Cuck. The Bike Cuck comic. My bike got stolen recently. I was pretty bummed about it, but I think whoever stole it was probably more happy to get it than I am sad to lose it. The total happiness in the world increased. So whatever, right? The infamous bike comic, which is it's just cuck. It's just cuck logic, right? It's like, yeah, I didn't get anything out of this and I got completely devastated, but I'm fine with what's going on here. So that means it wasn't that bad, right? And that's kind of what this is to me. It's like, well, I didn't really make any money off that comic. It was kind of a waste of time. I don't even think I broke even on it, but it's fine. You know, I'm doing better than Eric July because he's expecting all of his stuff to do really well. And when it just does kind of well and he doesn't make like all of the money, right? He just like 2X's instead of 4 or 5X's. That makes him a bigger loser than me, who's lucky to break even on my comics with a significantly smaller audience. I don't know, bro.
here's the funny thing. Billy,
like, it is just cold.
He's a very upbeat guy, but they're showing him on the last few, basically other people have taken over the promotion, like the DJ and some other people there, because Billy's just kind of, you know, he built up that this was going to be his big redemption. And so if people want to laugh at him, they can. But a funny thing happened in the comments on his TikTok, other people's TikTok, even detractors' TikTok. People say, you know, we said he wouldn't do it, but he did it. It wasn't very big. It wasn't very successful. Quite frankly, it doesn't look like a lot of fun. Your average barbecue would be much more fun than this. But it was.
I really hate his fucking story. His storytelling, he meanders a lot, bro. It's gotten worse. He was always bad. He wasn't as bad as he is right now.
Massive success at an earlier time, or your massive failure. Is this good for you? Is it fun? And my question, or my answer is yes. I had as much fun making LAX as I did on any other book. I absolutely love the book. I'm so happy with it. And I always mention this, but one of the things I never envisioned about making comics and publishing comics is you're just going to see your comics a lot. They're just going to be kind of around, so you're always going to be seeing them. So there's never a time where I see any of my comics where I'm just like, eh. Like every time, if I'm just looking for something, you know, light bulbs or whatever, and then I see a copy of LAX, you know, on top of a box, I'm not just like,
See, he'll call Eric July arrogant, but this whole thing, this whole being a comic book creator thing just sounds like just an ego thing for him. Like, he doesn't care if it's not that successful. He doesn't care if he doesn't grow his business. He doesn't care if, like, I don't know, only a couple people end up with his books. He's just satisfied with knowing that people, like, the books were getting made. And I remember there was this thing, he felt really good. He would always make videos feeling really good whenever somebody sent him a photo of their book on a shelf. Not them reading the comic, not them posting about how much they like the characters in the comics or the storyline. No, just knowing that somebody owned a book that he published was all it took to him. And I don't know, bro, that just sounds more of a ego thing to me than some dude who cares about his business growing.
This thing aside, I'm like, all right, man. Like, yeah.
Anyway, this is, you know, we're done with that. We're moving on, right? So now this is when things get kind of critical for Zack. Because Eric July, he's not back. We fast forward to this week, like just last month, the last day of January. And it's finally dawned upon Zack that, oh shit, he's not going to fail. His business isn't going to collapse. He might actually be able to keep going and actually expand his business. How the fuck is this possible? Xander Vorkov. Oh no, I'm sorry. Garfield's Bizarre Adventure. Zack and Evan are campaigns. Oh wait, hold up. I'm sorry. I am lost with these super chats. Xander Vorkov, thank you for $5. Also, Kurt Metzer shouted out you and your Fuentes doc on the stream with Ben Avery. Yo, for real? Hey, that's awesome. Big shout outs to Uncle Kurt. Creeper Weirdo, thank you for $5. Richard is too dumb for politics. He doesn't have politics. He has emotional reactions like a woman excited for the doc. That could be just as true for Richard Meyer as Richard Masucci. It's strange how many parallels there are between the two, including them being bad dads. Garfield's Bizarre Adventure, thank you for $5. Zack chastised his own fans for giving him super chats on his videos. He said he is not a beggar while he Okay, share, buddy. Creeper Weirdo, thank you for $2. For Richard, every word is projection. M-Man, thank you for $2. Bike Cuck is making art for the Seahawks now. Oh, well, good for the Bike Cuck.
Hi, everyone. It's your boy, Zack. So, for every one subject I cover, there's 10 that I just let him slide. And especially, like, if I do a community post and see that, like, everyone gets what I'm going to say before I even say it. Eric...
He prunes the comments, by the way. He prunes the comments in his community post. He prunes the comments in his videos, right? It's the reason why. The reason he didn't go on social media is because he was a shit stirrer. He would get in fights on social media with people in the industry all the time, right? And he was legit kind of obsessed with Heather Antos and Max Visaggio, especially Heather Antos. I really think he wanted to fuck that chick because it was weird, right? It was weird how much he was obsessed with her. And then after it came out that she had blown up, right? She had turned into a BBW. Suddenly, he didn't care about her that much. So I don't know. I think he was just trying. He wanted to. It's like when a dude, you know, when a little kid has a crush, has his first crush on a girl, so he starts bullying her a little bit. I feel like that was part of it. But no, he prunes his comments because he wants a boutique audience of people who only agree with him. This dude used to have over 100,000 subscribers. He has lost tens of thousands of subs, right? He'll probably be at 80,000 subs or lower by the end of the year. Maybe even by summer, who knows?
July launched, well, it's been a lot of books lately. It's going to be a lot more. A book on how to be creative, the Rippaverse way or something like that. Basically, he's been in comics for 3.5 years, and he's writing how to make comics. I did a community post also, like Stan Lee, John Buscema, Will Eisner. They had 30 to 50 years before they started writing books like this. He had 3.5 because, well, I wasn't gonna make a video because everyone in the comments like knew. They were actually like listing like what he did. It's like, you know, promote culture war over everything else, talk about numbers.
What? Dude, Eric July ain't even like a serious culture war guy like that for real. Not really. I mean, he is one of them. He's not like one of the main guys.
Because it's actually easy to make. Like, you get 1,000 people.
Also, he's put out enough comics. He has legit put out enough comics to make an actual omnibus, like a heavy fucking book that's just a compilation of all his comics over the past few years.
I'll give you $100. That's a lot of money.
Like, those don't exist.
Don't make me do math in my head, but it's one of those easy things. It's like, well, if it isn't good, how come, you know, we're doing good? It's like, well, because you found a way to sell a bunch of bullshit to dummies. You tell guys who look like Zippy the Pinhead.
I'm sorry about the audio, guys. This is 100% a Richard issue.
That they're winning some kind of culture war.
Simple Zack doesn't know how to balance the audio in both ears.
By buying your crap comics. So, then I was going to cover this other one. And it's all getting very silly. Eric July just announced that between Rippaverse and Ripascend, which is him publishing other people, he wants to publish 100 books this year. 100. And has been well covered. He turned 42,000 customers into, it looks like about 1,000 or so right now. And he is going to milk these shut-ins dry. Just fucking brutal. Shane Davis the other day, he was making a good point. He's like,
Shane Davis was making a good point. These are the people who he listens to, right? These are the people who your boy is getting all of his takes from. He's getting them from Ethan Van Sciver. He's getting them from Shane Davis. He's getting them from John Malin. He probably gets everything he says about Eric July from fucking Katydid clips. It is like, no wonder he has all these opinions about Eric July. He's already seething at him because he hates how successful he is. But now, you know, he's listening to all like the worst people to listen to if you want to know anything about what's going on in fucking indie comics, period, let alone what you want to hear about Eric July, right? It's also no wonder he doesn't talk about any of the bullshit that Comicsgate does. Like all of the shit he complains about Eric July doing, Comicsgate actually does those things and does them frequently. But of course, they're not going to say that. Shane Davis is never going to bring up all of Ethan Van Sciver's late books because then Ethan Van Sciver is going to kick him out the club. And Shane Davis can't fucking stand on his own.
Somehow it got into the conversation that we needed more comics. There's
What? Something random. Thank you for $2. 2 Man with Sarah Stock. Either you hungry or you're not. I'm starving. No, thank you. I'm not gonna be one of those dudes saying Sarah Stock is ugly. Sarah Stock, you can see it, it's on her face. No, Sarah Stock is, you know, she is quite an attractive woman. But she's also, you gotta know when to say no to yourself, right? You gotta leave bitches like that to the streets, right? That's where, if you pick something up, you would never eat a burger. It doesn't matter how good a burger looks. You would never eat a burger that you picked up off the street. You got to leave some shit in the street where you found it. Bean, thank you for $2. Anime Gods won, by the way, if that even matters. Yes, that is true. Manga did win. Manga beat American comics like ages ago. Like, here's the thing, right? Is that the battle between manga and Western comics is one of those things when Jim Lee brought it up. I'm sure a lot of you guys know Jim Lee. He made this post on Twitter where he was just absolutely glazing manga and anime and how successful they are, and he wants to emulate that in American comics. And it's like, bro, you're like a decade too late. Like, manga's been eating our lunch. Like, and I hate it. I hate the fact that American comics, we lack the footprint in our own region. Like, I go to fucking Barnes and Noble, I go to fucking bookstore anywhere, and I go to the comic section. There'll be like maybe a quarter of a shelf that's dedicated to shit from DC and Marvel mostly, with a little bit of shit dedicated to some indies. And then everything else, the remaining 95% of the comic section is just manga. And, you know, it's embarrassing. And I wish that wasn't the case, but it is what it is.
Just fucking brutal. Shane Davis the other day, he was making a good point. He's like, somehow it got into the...
Zack is more obsessed that the divorced dentists are buying Eric's books more than his Rambo book. You know what? That's another thing, too. And I always thought that was weird, even when I first heard him. I don't remember the video, but I do remember him quoting the term divorced dentist and how those were the people who were buying all the Marvel books still. And I'm like, who do you think is buying your books? Like, who do you think? I know that he can see, because I can see what the demographics are for my audience. You guys are mostly people in your 20s to 20 to 35, 18 to 35 specifically. That's what my audience mostly is. I skew kind of youngish, right? Like mid 20s to early 30s is about what my audience is. Most of you guys are American, Canadian, English, expectedly, you know, from English-speaking parts of the globe. So I know that he, like me, can see what the demographics of his audience are. So he should know that his audience is mostly the divorced dentist demographic. If he looks where his demographics for his videos, it's going to be men in their fucking 40s and 50s who are from, you know, well-off countries. And they're probably dudes who are just divorced lawyers, divorced mechanics. Probably mechanics don't read Zack shit. Divorced dentists, you know, that sort of demographic. Those are the people who are buying your books too, but in like lesser numbers than the dudes who are buying Marvel comics. In fact, now that I think about it, fucking more people are probably buying DC comics, like more normies. Here's what I'm gonna say. Jim Lee, well, this wasn't really Jim Lee. This is more Scott Snyder, is who I've heard is the dude who's mostly responsible for the absolute line, right? Like the absolute DC comic line has been an amazing success, bro. Like you got normies are reading comics again because of the absolute line, right? I see, you guys know we got these fucking hood weebs who make edits and commentary over shit like popular anime like Jujutsu Kaisen and Demon Slayer and shit like that. These dudes are making videos about absolute Batman and absolute Wonder Woman. That's how well these comics are doing. So yeah, bro, it's like, I don't know, it seems like the big two are starting to get shit together a little bit.
Conversation that we
Meanwhile, you're in the exact same place you were back in like 2017, bro.
needed more comics. There's like 400, 500 comics that go out to comic book stores through regular distribution every month. There are
a lot of people ain't reading those. Let's be real. A lot of people, most of these comics that are being published don't even need to be published, right? This is a boutique audience they're selling a lot of these books to. Bat Merc, thank you for $5. Sign up for my biker Viking comic Hell War, launching March the 13th, 2026, back day 1, and get a free sketch card. Creeper Weirdo, thank you for $5. Chat brings up a good point. Where is my Rambo book, Richard?
dozens of crowdfunding campaigns launched every month. And now we're about to get 100 Eric July published books in the next year. That is fucking crazy. So he puts this, and then this one culture war guy, he's like, rookie numbers. But
how do you know? Is this guy a culture war guy? Maybe he's a fan who's looking forward to all the new content.
on geeksandgamers.com, they just had an article about his book jumping up in sales. And the reason why is he was reading a super chat and he read it wrong. And that was funny. He was going to say, like, I wish you luck. And he said, I wish you nuts. He's like, I wish you nuts. Wait, what did I say? No, that's wrong. It's like, oh my God.
What does that got to do with this? What does that got to do with this?
So the sales.
Oh, fucking Eric July, he read a super chat wrong and had to correct himself.
In the culture war arena are literally about a dumb guy not reading something correctly. Also, said dumb guy is the writer of a book. So that's hilarious that he said nuts instead of luck. And the sales jumped up on his Ripicent book. So this is what we have to look forward to. The reality, like I said, with people, nobody really needed me to make a video about, you know, kind of the bullshit about him writing a comic or what do you say, a text-based book about how to write comics. Because everyone knows he just sells culture war. He sounds smart to dummies. So
does he?
You know, we gotta be scaled.
You keep saying that. He keeps saying that he sells culture war. From what I've seen, I'll be honest, I have not read any fucking Rippaverse books at all. That's why I don't talk about the fucking quality. I don't talk about the quality of any of these comics because I'll be dead ass. I haven't read any of them. I'm not interested. Well, no, that's not true. I have read Jawbreakers, and that was it. And that's part of the reason why I don't understand why he talks so much shit, because I know that you're a mid-ass writer, Richard, right? But, you know, from what I've seen about the Rippaverse comics, it doesn't seem like he is selling culture war. It seems like he's just selling, I don't know, kind of generic-ish superhero comics. So I don't understand. Isn't that what you like?
Which really means profits have shrunk, so we're going to pump out a bunch of dog shit YouTuber merch. I mean, we saw the recent sales spike was literally a
No, CG isn't culture war anymore, dude. It used to be. CG used to be culture war, but it stopped being culture war because Ethan Van Sciver, he wanted to take CG mainstream, so he had to get rid of some of the culture war anti-SJW elements, which is why he snaked Nurkish and shit like that, and he got on Mark Miller. No, not Mark Miller. No, this is I think this is Mike Miller. No, Mike Miller. Fuck, see, that's why I got Mark Millar's name wrong before. I was thinking about Mike Miller. Mike Miller was like, I don't know, an LGBT month. He said something like pride is a sin when they were talking about LGBT pride, and he got on Miller for that because, hey, what are you doing? We're trying to expand our audience. CG's trying to expand its brand. And that didn't work out for him, so he tried to abandon the culture war shit. And now it's just the Eric July Detractorverse, basically, Comicsgate. That's all it is these days. It's not anything else. Dave7244, thank you for the £2. If I was going to buy a comic, it would be Batman. Bean, thank you for $2. What is Zach's vax status? I don't think that you can blame vaccines and what's wrong with your boy. Chris Hiss, thank you for $4.99. Would you ever do a video on a lol-cow short fat otaku? I'll probably do a good segment on him when I get to the Skeptic documentary.
Guy. You remember in school when they were like, oh, we're all going to read this page. Everyone reads one paragraph, and it would get to the dumb guy. He'd be like, it was an excellent day to go to the zoo. And now that guy, he's writing comics. And they're just being absolutely excreted from the Rippaverse warehouse. This is all just an ego thing. Eric's, one of his many dreams was to own a warehouse and have employees.
Why is that a bad dream? Oh my God, this dude, he had the nerve to dream of being a successful businessman when he was younger. How fucking dare he? Why isn't he happy just being a fucking wayward father who doesn't raise his kids, fucking living on his friends' couches while he sells comic books that barely make him any money? Why isn't he satisfied with that?
And hire South Americans and Eastern Europeans, apparently.
How dare this nigga have a dream?
But yeah.
How dare he be ambitious?
This shit ain't over. Customers are gone, profits are way down, so he's gonna just every sub-literate YouTuber you've heard of is like.
Honestly, now I think about it, I probably could do a short fat otaku video extensively. He's like one of the skeptics who's like, they have enough lore that could fit for their own documentary. There are a handful of those guys, right? It's like short fat otaku, Sargon, I guess Worski too. Shit, a Worski documentary. Holy shit, that shit would be long.
Oh,
Worski's had a fucking history on an odyssey on the internet for real.
Stuff's woke. It's like here's your publishing.
Worski is for real one of the internet's mythic creatures, along with Ralph.
I had an idea for a pirate story. Let's go.
Honestly, I guess a lot of the skeptics are internet mythic creatures of the internet. Sargon arguably is one too.
Go with it, Billy called Billy. Anyway, thanks for watching. Bye.
Okay, so I love my algorithm. I have a very good algorithm. Okay, so now we're gonna get to the last Seed video, and then we'll probably watch the little segment where Elijah Schaefer is fucking swearing out his wife for being a bitch because she doesn't like the fact that he cheats on her all the time with other conservative e-bitches. So this is the video where Zack just throws in the towel. Your boy has to accept the fact that Eric July is a successful businessman, right? And he's not going anywhere. He has staying power. He probably is going to end up making 100 comics in a year. He probably is going to start up being I don't know, a multi-mega millionaire in the future. It sucks.
Somebody in the congregation asked why I'm wearing Christian Dior and Christian Louboutins. Because I'm a Christian and I walk in the blood of Jesus. Give him some praise.
Is that AI art? Yes. Ethan Van Sky. No, not Ethan Van Skyver. Richard Meyer loves him some AI art. He actually is planning on making his the comic book with AI art, which I don't know. That seems very inappropriate. I feel like if you're making a video, you're making a comic that's about the history of comic books, surely you should at least use an actual artist for something like that, right?
Take two. Because
also, this isn't even good AI. The perspective is fucked. This dude is a midget. I think he's supposed to be sitting down, but he's just a midget. This guy's the only one in a chair. The perspective is bad. He used the fucking cheat. He probably used Bing. He probably used Bing AI to make this. He didn't even use any of the better AI to make this shit.
My first take was me talking into the voice to text on ChatGPT. Anyway, I did a video.
Yeah, they are throwing up Romans. What the fuck?
A couple days ago, and I didn't upload it. I was talking about Eric July.
Eric July is leading a clan meeting. It's crazy.
Kind of like a thesis, but I didn't upload it for two reasons. One was because it veered more into criticizing Eric's customers than himself and his company. And number two is that I thought I was close, but not correct. So I just decided to think about it some more, because he had announced that he was going from I mean, he started, he would have like 1 or 2 books.
Control Alt Delete got an animated series. What's Zack's excuse? I mean, hey, bro. Everybody knows that one viral webcomic, but Control Alt Delete did have some motion back in the day.
Per year.
There are a lot of dudes who, back in the day, back when like webcomics were first taken off, so long as you were consistent and you weren't complete dog shit, you got somewhere. Because I don't hate the Penny Arcade guys. I never understood why they were that big of a deal. And the only thing I could just figure it out is that they were early and they were consistent and they were of higher quality than a lot of their competition. And really, that was enough.
And then he went to...
It's really a lot like comic. It's kind of like a lot of this indie comic shit that we've been talking about, right? You got a lot of dudes who are just, they were early and they were able to ride the wave. And you got Eric July, who was a little bit later, but still he's pretty early to this shit overall. And I don't know, he's of a higher quality somewhat, and he's way more consistent than everybody else. So I don't know, he's winning.
And now he's like, fuck it, I'm going to put out like 100 books. That's between his company and Rip Ascend, which, oh, by the way, you're not allowed to criticize him. Just FYI.
Okay, all right, that's pretty crazy coming from you, Rich. It's pretty that's pretty rich coming from you, Richard. Mr. I'm gonna fucking prune my comments on literally every post and video that I make. This nigga removed one of my comments. I remember. I was calling him out saying, hey, bro, why are you spazzing? And he just got rid of it. He zapped it. He zapped my comment, bro. He doesn't want any Discord. He wants nothing but yes men. He's telling everybody, just get the fuck out. If you have anything negative to say about anything that I say or anything positive to say about any of the people I complain about, get the fuck out of here. I don't want you as a fan. So I don't know. I don't know where he's coming from. Corruption Point, thank you for $5. Rippa's books are pretty politically neutral. They're just standard superhero comments. Zack knows this, but he's just repeating insults from CG. Yeah, exactly, right? If everything you know about Eric July comes from people in Comicsgate or from Vito and Dax Herrera, then you will know it's so propagandized, the version of like what has happened over the years and the drama they all have with Eric July. They lie through their they lie through their teeth, and they lie when their mouths are open, and they lie in their sleep. They just can't tell the truth when it comes to anything ever. Not even shit that's not even related to Eric July. Even stuff that's related to, like, I don't know, people within CG. They lie on each other, really. The only person who you're not allowed to lie on is Ethan Van Sciver. Ethan Van Sciver can lie about literally everybody else. And if you complain about it, he'll do some fucking mob boss shit to kick you out. You guys know how, like, some of you guys know how back in the Skeptic days, Sargon, he started letting shit go to his head. His head got a little bit too fat, and he started moving like a fucking mob boss and just lying and doing a lot of backroom shit. Ethan Van Sciver does that shit by like a factor of 10. He's worse than Sargon was at like his most gay-oppish. It's crazy. Mr. Mareep, thank you for $5. When's the Seth the Programmer video? Also, do you fuck with Toho? Yes, I do fuck with Toho. And I don't know, bro. I feel like that's some old drama unless Seth the Programmer has done some new crazy shit.
There's no...
I mean, I guess I have talked about old shit before, so I could just do a video on Seth the Programmer. There's enough lore there.
Legitimate criticism of him allowed. But I don't know. I'm breaking all the rules. But anyway, so he goes from 1 to 2 per year to 1 to 2 per month to 100 per year, which is,
My favorite is Reimu. I'm a very basic bitch.
Math in my head, not a strong suit. 8 or so per month, a lot. And especially since these aren't floppies, these are mostly books. And with the shipping and the book, we're talking like $35, $50. There's also a lot of encouragement, let's say, in the Rippaverse congregation to buy multiple copies of each book he publishes, even if it is, for example...
How is that any different than Ethan Van Sciver selling the exact same comic but with different covers? How is that any different from that?
Biography of an e-celeb. There were multiple people showing off buying 3 copies of Nerdrotics.
Also, this is just what fans do, bro. It's not just a thing that's relegated to fucking Eric July either. It's like people do this with anime. They do this with video games. They do this with collectibles. They do this with movies, right? If you're a big fan of something, you're going to want every edition of it, including the ones that are signed by all of the main cast members or the people involved with creating it. That's just what nerds do when they're obsessed with some shit. Garfield's Bizarre Adventure, thank you for $5. Zack banned me for simply disagreeing about Furiosa. I said most people don't want to watch a Mad Max movie without Mad Max. Gone from the comments. That's so crazy, dude. See, he was like, oh, these critics, these fucking nerdrotic and critical drinker, they're the reasons why Furiosa failed, why it bombed. No, they aren't. A lot of those guys were like, Furiosa is actually pretty good. It's a shame that it just didn't hit with the audiences, but a lot of people just didn't want to see a Mad Max movie where there was no Mad Max. Most Mad Max movies didn't even do that well, by the way. Mad Max is like almost cult classic type of film. None of the Mad Maxes have really made a major run in the box office for real. So to think that a spin-off of Mad Max where Mad Max wasn't even in the movie was going to do that well was kind of delusional on Zack's part. Brofister, I love and hate anime, too much slop to count, and too many immature Western fans that cannot enjoy a story that doesn't agree with them.
Biography.
I won't disagree with that.
Fuck. But anyway, so my first, when he said 200, I go, oh, okay, I understand what's happening. He's gone from 42,000 customers to around 1,000 in just 3.5 years. So he's like, this is going to be like 500 within a year or two. So he's like, I'm just going to milk these idiots as much as I can. But I wanted, and then I was talking about the sunk cost fallacy, and so like, if you spent this much money, from 30 books over the last couple of years, you're not going to be like, oh, this shit sucks. So you're going to keep going. But I was looking at the responses to him, and realizing that he had done something, I think, without precedent in the history of comics, in that he had set up not a customer base, but a congregation. After the first time I went to Iraq, I started going to a church right there in Mira Mesa. Forget the name of it. It's like over by the Jack in the Box, towards that end. And like the first time I went there, and there wasn't a lot of people. This was like, I don't know, one of the Sunday masses, maybe 30 people. And I think
there weren't a lot of churches in Iraq. Wow, who would have thought?
It was like the
there weren't a lot of people attending church in Iraq.
One, like the one around noon. And so he started talking about it. I was like, oh, it's expensive here. We need some money. And then he gave the money, and it was like something insane, like $2 million. And this is like 2003. So I was like, okay, this church is getting closed down. Bro, they made that shit by the next week. And it's, okay, so that wasn't their entire congregation. Okay, so maybe they got 3 masses on Sunday and maybe like a midweek. And, well, I mean, they have mass a lot, but the one that has a lot of people, not just like 4 old ladies. There's not that many masses. So let's say the congregation was 200, but then let's even just multiply it, because this is just like a random, week in the year. So probably Easter and Christmas, that's the most. So let's say it's a couple thousand. Still, they got $2 million in a freaking week.
Damn.
Out of not a lot of people. So that,
man, the power of Jesus will do a lot for your pocket.
I've always kind of stuck with that. It's like, oh shit, especially when you get a couple things. When you have old people and you have lonely people, as long as they're not homeless, they got money. In fact, they kind of got more money because they're not going out and partying because they're old and or lonely. So what, and I even see it like,
I want to fast forward, but it's only 8 minutes. And I'm like, damn, bro. Why is it so hard for you to just like talk about Era July in your videos about Era July? I've never seen somebody, and you guys know I be going on some crazy ass tangents. This boy be he be going on tangents like crazy.
Kind of pontificating more. And then there was like the Odyssey, the cast of Black Woman, which is a huge problem, with Africa being an entire 100 miles away from Greece. And they had boats. But he did a video to talk about it, and the thing he talked about was just that he didn't really have an opinion to talk about it. And I'm like, why would you?
See, you listen to this, and you will wonder, well, who would be a fucking fan of this guy? Who would actually, oh, are you serious? Are you serious? Ain't no way. I can't okay, let me see this. Okay, let me see. No. Okay, let me put in Ripper. Are you serious? Does he really not bring up Era July? No, that's impossible.
Oh, because he set himself
Does he really just ramble for the rest of this fucking video?
In this kind of
about some church shit?
All in response preacher position for his congregation to which they go to him for answers. It's like, Pastor, a black woman. Finish the sentence. No, that's it. He will win. And it's counterintuitive. Usually you talk about you don't want to exhaust a customer base, but these aren't customers. This is a congregation. When they buy, a book, that's going to church. So now they just get to go to.
All right, hold on. Let me speed up the video. Fuck it. This is crazy, dude.
Because that's their community. That's where they interact with other people. One of the funniest things I saw is one of his employees was like, you think nobody talks about our characters and stories? It's like, okay, so we're not autistic. When I say they never talk about it, I mean they barely talk about it. But I've seen the conversations. The conversations go like this. Oh boy, there's a new comic about Swearseed. I hope to learn more about her. I do too. I'm sure it's like...
Here's the thing. Here's another thing, is that he's talking like this. Everybody in Comicsgate and who's affiliated with Comicsgate, they hold the Rippaverse up to a standard that they themselves don't hold anybody else to, right? Like, nobody says, hey, nobody's talking about Cyberfrog. Nobody's talking about any of the Jawbreakers characters. They don't say any of that shit, right? Because of course nobody outside of Comicsgate, outside of the CG bubble, is talking about Comicsgate. Why would they? It's like, it's a nothing character. There's like not even a story for you to talk about. But then they'll say nobody's talking about Isom. Well, okay. How much do people need to talk about Ice? Like, do they need to be talking about Isom the way they talk about Batman or The Flash or Spider-Man? Right? Like, Eric July, he has to make these big blockbuster characters that everybody is talking about, that get put in cartoons and movies and shit like that. He has to move all this volume. But everybody in CG, they're just allowed to just, I don't know, flounder basically, because they have no standards. Nobody in CG has to meet any sort of standard, including getting their books out on time. But Eric July, he has to go above and beyond. And even if he managed to do it, it still wouldn't be enough.
It really sounds like
it's so weird.
Two AIs talking to each other.
Basically, I don't know, he's bringing up congregation and religion and shit. It is religion. Eric July is a religion for these people. He's like the devil. That's what he is. Like, Eric July, he's Satan. And there's everything he does is wrong. He represents everything bad in indie comics. He's the reason why nobody else in this scene can succeed, because I don't know what he's doing. They never really go into detail about what he's doing. Just, he's culture war this, he's bad news that, he's disingenuous, whatever. He's not running a real business. They can never really be exact in the details because it's all bullshit, right? So they have to be purposely nebulous. But no, he's their Satan.
It's just like this thing, because, a year or two I started pointing out, I was like, nobody talks about these stories, so they started talking about them, but it's not in any kind of organic way.
Like, it's weird. Comicsgate, they don't have a Jesus for real. They don't have a Jesus, and they don't really have a God, but they do have a Lucifer/Satan, and that's Eric July.
It's in this, like, checking the box. It's like, see, we talked about it. But the real thing is, you buy it. He just put out like 3
books. It's a movement, it's a group, it's a community where there's no salvation and there's no virtue. There's only sin. That's Comicsgate.
So I saw someone, they spent like $300. And, usually you do that math. You go, oh, can the average person? It's like, yeah, but if you don't go out, and if you don't do anything, and this is like your only thing, and you only got to find 1,000 guys like that in like Western culture, yeah, he's going to go on fucking forever. And they're going to work, and they're going to give him, everything he has, because he gives them something. He gives them, a community. He gives them a victory every week. Every victory they have they used to get victories a couple times a year. Now they get them every week. So I don't think, if you're still buying Rippaverse books in 2026, like, you're not a comic fan. You're a lonely guy who wants to connect with just any.
Okay, what do you mean? What do you mean you're not a fan? If you buy a Rippaverse, you're not a comic fan. How does that, how does that compute? How does that compute? It's like, I was watching something involving Dick and Vito, where they were poking fun at Eric July, because of course they've gone back to that. Vito is literally over 2 years late on delivering Superkiller at this point, but he still has the nerve to talk shit about Eric July. And of course, when they were in the segment, it was mostly Vito who was talking and saying shit about Eric July, even though it's like, I don't know, bro, you haven't even gotten the 1 book out and you got 6 figures to make it, right? But then they were like, look, Eric, this isn't a legitimate business. Okay, so it's not a legitimate business, and if you buy his comics, you're not an actual comic book fan. Okay, so what is he just making ether?
So I think this is my last word on Rippaverse. There's really nothing to say. These aren't real comics. They never were. This is, now I'm basically attacking someone's religion to criticize them. So also, like, there's good comics out there, so why would I waste time on this stupid shit? I'm getting caught up on New Gods. That freaking Evan
I'm getting caught up on all my comics that I still haven't gotten out. I'm getting caught up.
Eagle. I got caught up on Captain America.
Oh no, never mind. I thought he was talking about getting caught up on finishing book. No, he's just reading comics.
Infernal Hulk. So, if you're
very mediocre comics, by the way. I'm getting caught up on these mediocre books. Eric July is a mediocre writer, but I read all these mediocre books, but they're better because, I don't know, they're published by Marvel and He's not even reading the hot shit. He's not even talking about absolute Batman.
Comic book fan, go read comics. Go read some comics, as they say.
Go read some generic shit from the big two. Those are the only real comics.
But if you're a comic book fan and you're talking about Rippaverse, why? Because those aren't really comics. Those are like sacraments, you know, in like this little mini religion of 1,000 lonely guys.
This will not be his last word on it. Mark my words, he will bring him up again because he can't help it. Because the only way for your boy and for EVS and for all these other guys to stop talking about Eric July is for him to actually fail. The thing that they say they want to happen, but not really. If he fails, then they'll be able to stop talking about him. Until then, they will talk about him until the day he dies.
A lot of disposable income. Anyway, thanks for what. Oh, I can't wait till Swearsey meets Horseman. I also can't wait for that. I am sure that will be an incredible fight. I agree as well. That's literally
words that have never been said about any comic book character made by your boy. Eric said, I will make a book. Okay, Corruption Point, thank you for $5. Eric said, I will make a book and then made a book, but he's somehow a grifter and a cult leader. This is why I'm XCG and hate what it's become. Quiet Writer, thanks for $5. Why is Zack comparing Eric's relationship with his fan as a congregation? I thought his favorite character is a ninja on a skateboard. Einbrick, thank you for $5 Canadian. It's still funny to me that leftoids call him a white supremacist. He's a race mixer, lol. They mixed the point so hard with that one. Yeah, you shouldn't call Richard a fucking white supremacist or anything. What they should have called him out for being like a deadbeat dad who's always on the road and never like taking care of his kids and just leaving them all with his baby mamas. That's what they should have said. But I don't know. They always miss that point because I guess they don't care about him. Him being a deadbeat dad is way less of a sin than him being mean to some SJWs on Twitter or whatever. Garfield's Bizarre Adventure, thank you for $5. Remember when Zack told comic creators to shut up and just sell the hot dogs to people who want to buy hot dogs? Zack forgot all about that. Well, you know, I don't know. I guess Eric July's hot dogs, they aren't of enough quality, right? You got to be gourmet hot dogs is what Eric July has to sell for them to be good enough. Joe Music, thanks for $2. So can Richard explain why no one reads his book? Oh, that's not that big of a deal, bro. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that his books barely sell, that people barely read them, that he barely makes the money back on making these books. It doesn't matter, right? It's just the fact that he feels good when he makes them is what matters, right? That's why you know he's not coping. Corruption Point, thank you for the $5 again. Zack went quasi-woke in order to get a new audience, but his channel has cratered since then. All he does is obsess over Eric July. So, yeah, that's true, basically. That's all it comes down to. And I don't get it. I mean, I do get it. I get it. We explained it, but it's weird. It's weird how he seems to, in my opinion, I don't know, he seems to see the most generally. The most genuinely, I mean, right? With the other guys, you can tell that they're playing it up. Dick is playing it up. Vito probably is seething like that for real, but even he's playing it up. EVS is even playing it up. With Zack, no, he actually does like hate Eric July and hate the fact that he's doing way better than he is. That actually does hurt his feelings, and it's very sad to see. Anyway, before we leave, we're gonna watch this little bit right here. Milo came once again with the receipt god, Milo Yiannopoulos, the most dangerous of all bundles of sticks. He did it again. Somehow I don't know how he keeps getting all this shit, bro. This nigga has receipts that shouldn't even be fucking possible. Like this motherfucker probably has receipts of shit that happened before fucking recorders, before you could even record audio. It's weird. Mr. Bloodia, thank you for $5. Being a failure is fine for Richard. It means his baby mamas can't get any of his Jawbreakers money. Anyway, we're gonna listen to this. There are other recordings, right? And you guys might have already watched the Kino Casino stream or somebody else's stream, because this has kind of become kind of mainstream, this Elijah Schaffer shit, right? Like, this is a big, I don't know, bro. I might end up making a video about this dude in the future. Probably. Yeah, I probably will, because this shit is wild and it's a lot. But there's this one recording, this one new recording that he dropped again. He keeps dropping new shit, Milo, of him just like going off on his wife.
Dumb bitch, please. I'm trying to, like, god damn it. Being such a fucking whore. I'm like, literally like, oh, hey, you know what? You had a couple beers. Oh, why do you lie to me? Why do you lie to me? You know why? 'Cause you're a fucking whore and you're a bitch. And you need to shut the fuck up. How about that? Because when I talk to you the truth, you become a fucking whore. And I don't want to be around you. Oh, I'm not a whore.
She's the whore. She's the whore, even though I've been fucking e-thoughts on the side.
Yeah, maybe you're not. You act like one. How about that? Oh, well, you want to show yourself to me? Yeah. How about this? I can handle your shit. Fucking divorce me. Take my son. Do what the fuck you want.
Divorce me. Take my son, bitch. I bet you won't. I bet you won't take him. I bet you won't fucking take my kid and run away. I bet you won't do that.
How about this? Shut the fuck up, because I'm your husband, and I'm trying to support you and be your husband. Well,
I'm trying to support you.
Oh, God.
I'm trying to support you, bae. You fucking whore. You bitch. Divorce me, bitch. I'm trying to support you.
Damn it. Oh, I hope you die. I hope you die and successfully. Oh my God, your husband had some beers. I hope you die in peace. Oh my God, you have fake problems. You have fake problems. You're a fake complainer. You have fake problems. Your husband loves you. He works for you. He does everything. Oh my God, but you know, I asked, could you just be honest with me for one moment? Oh my God, what did I do?
What did I do? What did I do? I just fucking get high. I just get high and I do drugs all day and I fucking go abroad and I'm fucking Sarah Stock and I'm fucking all these other e-hoes. And I love what Milo did after he dropped all the deets, after he dropped all the receipts about how Elijah was fucking Sarah Stock. Sarah Stock was fucking Elijah like first night they met, right? Like right before she even got engaged. She convinced her husband she was a virgin. Meanwhile, she was fucking riding Elijah Schaffer's shaft like the first night they met and shit. Milo came out and he was like, hey, before any of you other conservative e-thoughts start going off and talking crazy, I know that a lot of you have also been fucking Elijah Schaffer on the side too. Don't make me drop the deets on you too, right? Just fucking terrorize him. He's just the boogeyman. Milo is the boogeyman of like the dissident right. He's got dirt on everybody. At any moment, he could just like ruin somebody's life.
I was honest with you. Do you know what I got in return, being honest? This shit. So fuck you, honestly, from my bottom of my
This is why, too. This is why Nick Fuentes, he does not reply. He's got Milo blocked. He doesn't reply to anything Milo says. He doesn't acknowledge anything Milo does. Even when he was talking about this drama recently, which of course he took Sarah Stock in Elijah Schaffer's side because Elijah Schaffer is his boy. Elijah Schaffer, another Fuentes curse victim, by the way. We got so many Fuentes curse victims in just the past few months alone. I told you guys, Nick is extra radioactive during winter. You guys didn't fucking believe me. Look what's happening, right? So this is why, though, Nick Fuentes, he doesn't say anything about Milo because he knows at any moment, Milo is one day going to drop receipts that's going to do the exact same thing to Nick's career, too.
Fuck you, bitch.
The Nick Fuentes sex tape, it exists, and we're gonna see it one day.
I fucking will never be honest with you. You're a fucking ungrateful bitch. So fuck you. You don't deserve any honesty. Oh, I just really want you to be honest with me. I want you to just please. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. You had a couple beers. You tell me in past life. Oh my God, you're such a fucking lie. Oh, you suffer with lying. You suffer with lying, you bitch. You suffer with lying. Oh my God, I'm so sorry.
The spirit of the alpha male just possessed Elijah.
Fuck you, honestly, just fuck you. You're such a fucking.
It's actually worse, because I guess what? Look, man, Ralph would never come on social media and cry about his wife and child abandoning him. He just fucking move on and get himself a Mexican prostitute instead. He ain't built like the Ralph male.
You're just like, oh, well, you had a couple beers. I just wish you told me the truth. No, you don't, you bitch. You have no desire for that. It makes me so angry. It makes me so angry every time I listen to your stupid fucking shit. It makes me so angry. You know what? It's just, it makes me so angry I listen to your shit. I'm so angry. I even, like...
I wonder if he beats her. I probably shouldn't say that so casually, but you know, it's like, I don't know, this is giving, like, I beat my wife when I get drunk vibes. He is an Irishman, after all, Elijah Schaffer.
You just lie to me through your teeth, and you go, when you lie to me, you lie to me too. You're a liar. You're a fucking liar. And you go, when you lie to me, you're a liar. I hate you. You're like, you're a fucking lying bitch too. So fuck you. I'm done with this. You know what? It's just like, it's just retarded. I won't be honest with you. I don't know why there's an issue tonight. You know, my dad sucks. I'm sorry, my dad sucks.
You know, it's crazy. She didn't say a word. He literally had a conversation with himself, right? Like, he was talking to her, obviously. That's how Milo got this recording, right? Like, she recorded him talking to her. She didn't say a word for 3 minutes. For 3 minutes straight, Elijah had a conversation with himself, just imagining his wife being some annoying bitch, right? And just, you know, just calling him out for lying and doing drugs and fucking other women behind her back and shit. How dare her? How dare his wife? How dare his wife try and nag him because he gets some side pussy and does blow instead of raising his kids? How dare she? Anyway, don't fuck with Milo. Milo, see, this is what DSP called himself, the King Snake. This is what an actual king snake looks like. Milo right here. There's no telling. This boy has hard drives on top of hard drives on top of hard drives, just full of dirt, right? God forbid. The only guy on, you know, we always have the meme, we need to check that dude's hard drive. I don't want to check Milo's hard drive. There's no telling what the fuck. He's got his own little micro Epstein file shit going on, and it's just people he doesn't like. I don't understand why there are people who still beef with Milo, thinking that, you know, it's going to turn out well for you. It won't. At some point, at any moment, just a couple years from now, he'll just ruin his career. We still don't know. We still haven't seen fucking Ollie Alexander's face in years, right? Fucking got banished to the Shadow Realm after Milo was done with him. He's probably still doing some shit behind the scenes, but that was over for his career after that shit dropped. So, you know, we'll see. I don't know. I hope he has some shit in store for Nick, and I hope he puts it out before I end up getting on my part 2 of my next Nick Fuentes documentary. Anyway, Elijah Schaffer, the latest Fuentes curse victim. You know, don't do drugs and cheat on your wife if you're also gonna LARP as some trad dissident right conservative. Oh, also, Elijah Schaffer was also one of the guys who went into the Capitol on Jan 6th. Not only did he go into the Capitol, he also went into Nancy Pelosi's office and he took photos of her emails. But despite doing this shit, everybody else had to go to jail. Everybody else had to go to prison. Everybody else at least got charges put on them, but not him. Baked Alaska had to go down. The Groypers who went into Nancy Pelosi's office and went into the Capitol building, they all had to go down. But not Elijah Schaffer. Elijah Schaffer got off scot-free. What I think this is, right? Because, you know, Milo also has glowy accusations against him, right? So I think that this might actually just be the glowies coming to collect, right? It's like you skirted off too free for too long, Elijah, and we don't like how you're moving, so we're just gonna go ahead and detonate what's left of your career, because let's be real, nobody was watching this motherfucker anyway. Rift TV is lucky to get a fucking 1,000 views. I thought about A-logging it. I can't, because it's too fucking boring. I can't believe that there are bitches who needed to fuck this guy just to get on his fucking show. Like, he doesn't even have enough clout. He doesn't have enough clout to be worthy of you fucking him. See, I can understand bitches who fuck Destiny for clout, but Elijah Schaefer? Come on. Fucking like Hassan for clout, okay. But Elijah Schaefer, I don't know, man. Some of these hoes are just a little bit too desperate. Just a little bit too desperate. Sarah Stock was never that poppin' to begin with. Literally, it was the conservathought thing I said. You know, I'll give one thing to Laura Loomer. That bitch has been busted almost her entire career on the internet and as a political agitator and whatever the fuck. She went further than any of these other hoes, and she could not use her looks or her pussy to get there. And boy, did she try it. I don't know, maybe she gave that good look to Trump or whatever the fuck, but she made it. She got an office in the Pentagon, and she got there looking like fucking Jigsaw. Sarah Stock could never, right? Never. I'll give that to Laura Loomer. She fucking went miles while a lot of these bitches went inches with way more advantages. Jefferson C. Post, thank you for $5. The casino sent me, and Alyssa reminded me, your editing style and music choices give me such a late 90s, early 2000 vibes. Well, that's where a lot of my music come from. 5 picoseconds. Thank you for $5 Canadian. Glad I'm always sus about Elijah. He never seemed genuine to me. It's weird that he had to be exposed like this a second time for it to stick, though. Well, you know, hey, dissident right people can, well, I wouldn't say dissident right, because I feel like dissident right dudes hold themselves to a higher standard than guys like Elijah. Elijah is like, he's one of the purest versions of a political grifter I've seen in a while, right? So it's very satisfying to see it all collapse for him, because he is a piece of shit. He's a piece of shit in every way. He's a piece of shit in his beliefs. He's a piece of shit in how he treats people, how he treats his coworkers, how he treats his family, right? So it's very satisfying to see his downfall, because it's very much deserved. Dave7244, thank you for £2. Milo is the modern Prince of Darkness. I feel like he's very Machiavellian. There's a lot of people who try and act like they're Machiavellian shit and whatever. Milo is one of the few people who actually walks the walk, and he doesn't even have to talk the talk. See, Ethan Van Sciver wishes he could be as Machiavellian and pull as many strings as fucking Milo over here, just destroying careers just like that. 48 hours. He only needed 48 hours to just devastate 2 families. It's crazy, bro. Some fucking Walter White shit. Anyway, that's it. That's all I have for today. I appreciate you guys all for coming around. This is the playlist. Oh shit, we got 12,000 views for the playlist. You guys are going to the playlist to watch shit. I'm glad. That's why I have it. That's why I got it there, because I want you guys to go there, and I want you guys to watch these old VODs, or at least be able to find the ones you do want to watch. Anyway, we got a video. I do got 2 videos that I'm working on. Well, one that I'm mainly working on that I plan on getting out this month on MikeyNohMore. I plan on making some content on Review Mikey USA in March, but these 2 videos, one of them is going to be big. It's probably going to be at least 45 minutes, probably an hour. I don't know. I've been doing a lot of research, getting a lot of receipts. It's looking like it's going to be an hour. I thought it would be shorter, but you guys know me. You guys know every time I want a video to be 20 minutes, it ends up being 30. Every time I want a video to be 30 minutes, it ends up 45. Every time I want a video to be 45 minutes, it ends up an hour and a half. So I don't know. We'll see. I think I can get both of these videos out. The second one is going to be way shorter. Maybe like a mealtime video. One of them will be. So anyway, thanks for tuning in. I appreciate you guys for showing up. And I'll see you later. Oh, wait, Einbrick, thank you for the $5 Canadian. Thanks for all the content, Mikey. You give me fun shit to listen to while I muck about with life shit. Oh, no problem, bro. Just make the videos long. One of them will be long. I don't try and make videos arbitrarily long or arbitrarily short. I want every video to be the exact length it's supposed to be. And if that ends up being an hour, 2 hours, or 3 hours, like the fucking Nick Fuentes documentary, then so be it. Anyway, I'll see you guys later. Where is it? There it is. All right. See you.